So the next one I'm going to show you is the circle. I'm going to leave the triangle for later. Circle is a little trickier because you've got to put like a double command. In the lab handout, it shows the basic form of the circle program. So I'm not going to go through that, but I'll just demonstrate it. So again, we're back at home. Now what we need to do is jog down to the beginning of the circle, which is going to be right here. Now, think about this in terms of geometry. Here's 0, 0, 0, and here's 200, 0, 0. So this is the halfway point. So that's going to be 100, 0, 0. So I'm going to do another joint jog down to that point, and that's going to be 0.5. And once again, I don't have to jog to it and do all that adjusting. I can just click on position. I know it's going to be 100, 0, 0. And just to make sure, I can see actually Roboguide shows you the point that you just created, but just to be sure, I'm going to put it in step mode and just move down to that point by going shift forward. Okay, and that's where I am. Okay. So the circle move is going to consist of 2 points. It's, well, actually, it's just half of a circle. So it's going to be the apex of the arc and the end of the arc. So again, thinking of the coordinates, this is going to be the first point of the circle move, or the arc, and then this is going to be the second point of the circle move. So this is, the coordinates of this is 200, 100, and then this one is 100 in x, 200 in y. So to get that command, I just go shift point, and it just goes ahead and puts a motion command in there. What I have to do is go to choice to change it to circular. So I'm going to do circular, and notice that it has 2 points I have to fill in. So 0.6, I can do the same thing. I click position, and this is going to be 0. Oh, actually, yeah, so this is going to be 200, 100. Okay, now this next one, you notice there are just 3 dots in there. I actually have to fill that in with a point. I have to teach it so it has some kind of data in it, or else it won't do anything. So I do a shift touch up just to create the point, and then I'm going to go and manually change the value of that point. I also need to slow this down. 4,000 would be too fast. So if I click on 7, go to position, and so this is going to be 100 in x, 200 in y. All right, and let's just test that so far. We're in step mode still, so I'm just going to go shift forward. Went back to home. Starts there, goes around that quarter circle, and then to the next one. So that's all good. Now all I need is one more circular move to get myself back to here. So again, I do shift point, change this J joint move to circular, change the speed again, 4,000 way too fast. And I've got, again, two points to fill in. The 8 is going to be this point here, which is 0, 100. And this last point, I already have that point. It's the point I started with, which was 0.5. So all I have to do is type that point back in, and that point is already defined. And then the last thing I want to do is go back to home. So I'll do a shift point. It's going to be a joint move. change the point to a position register, type in 1, and that's my home position. So I'm going to start back here and step through it. Shift, step. And make sure I can do the whole circle. All right. So right now I basically have a shapes program, and I want to test it by running through it. I just stepped through it. I'm going to take it out of step mode and do a run through without stepping. There's my square, and there's the circle. Okay, but the real test is going to be when I run it in cycle start mode. So I hit this play button up here, and remember, when I check your submissions on Roboguide, I'm just going to go by the play button. So make sure it works in that mode. What you want to see is that nice sharp corners, and the circle goes around like that. Now let me show you one last thing regarding the circle that notice we have fine termination everywhere. The thing with the circle, though, is that middle point of the circle. So it starts here, goes around half an arc, and then it goes the rest of the half of the arc. That, because that's fine termination, what it's doing, you might have noticed, it kind of hesitates at that point before moving on, which is what it's supposed to do with fine termination. But really, with to make a nice smooth circle, I should actually change that to a continuous. Everything else should stay fine termination, but we're going to make that continuous. So it's not going to slow down. It's going to just go right through that point and make a nice smooth circle. Just not a totally essential thing, but it's just a finer point to make it run a little better. So let's see how that goes. There's the square. There's the circle. There we go. Okay, so I'm sure you can figure out how to do a triangle at this point. Still already have the points for that. And that's where we'll wrap it up. Okay, have a great day.